What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Final Whistle podcast. This week, guess who's back? Nate's back.
I am back. I feel much better. I saw all the comments in the comment section. Thank you to everybody who had reached out and wished me well, wished me to get back, for this week. Joe, you did a very good job last week.
Thank you.
Flying solo. I thought that was a very well-constructed pod, so.
Yeah, it was a little bit more difficult, without you there, but I managed. I got through it. Moving on to this week. It's been a couple weeks since we talked, because obviously you weren't feeling well. So, how was your weekend? How's it been going?
It was pretty good. I mean, last week I didn't feel good. Friday, I was back, feeling good and everything else. Well, I worked Friday night at the bar, Halloween night. That was crazy. So, but that was kind of good, your first time, really getting back to doing something, and you're just super busy. So, it felt good to, just jump all the way back in.
Yeah,
that
makes sense.
Getting back in the groove of things. And then this weekend we went to Des Moines. Me and the wife did. We went furniture shopping, fun stuff. We just kind of hung out, did a bunch of stuff, watched Iowa State lose again. We just kind of did that.
Yeah, tell the people what you dressed up as for Halloween.
Well, I didn't really dress up as anything. I was just, I was a golfer. So, Kate was my caddy, and which is a terrible idea. Kate is not a good caddy. Usually when we're golfing, she's asking me what club to use. So, I don't know how that made any sense. But
So maybe you should have been her caddy.
Yeah, but I'm not carrying her clubs. She's not good enough to get a caddy. Neither am I, but she's certainly not good enough to get a caddy.
Yeah, we saw you there. We made up some last minute costumes. Maddie went as a.
Yeah, I was saying, Joe, what were you? Were you just a football player?
No, I was an Iowa State football player. Yep,
Right.
I had an Iowa State jersey.
Whose jersey was it?
It's just a generic jersey.
Oh,
But
what numbers?
17.
Oh, you were Kyle Kempt.
Yeah. I didn't have pads on, so I said I was a football player who was injured. 2 torn ACLs, torn Achilles, sprained MCL, just all of it. So that's why I didn't have the pads on. And yeah, that's what I was. Just threw it together, found in the back of the closet. But yeah, this weekend was interesting. Obviously Halloween was Friday, so then Saturday, the fiance wanted to put up Christmas decorations.
That's insane. That's way too early.
So we did that. It was up earlier last year, believe it or not.
That doesn't make any sense. We're not even through with Thanksgiving yet, and you're already moving on to Christmas?
Her take is that if you only start after Thanksgiving, you don't have enough time to enjoy it.
Well, that's crazy. I don't agree with that, but hey, you guys got to do what you got to do,
Yeah, so I busted my ass on Saturday and Sunday and got everything up.
Did you put Christmas lights up?
No, not on the house, no. I don't know if I will this year or not. There's still a chance. We have the lights to do it, but I don't really know if I feel like getting up on a ladder or not.
I see.
If they go up, they might be staying up all year. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I hear you. Alrighty. Well, it was an interesting weekend in sports. It was supposed to be like a really good weekend in college sports, and it just everything just kind of fell apart. I feel like, at the start of the year, this was supposed to be like a big weekend. There was supposed to be like 7 or 8 matchups inside the top 10 this weekend, and teams have just kind of fallen apart. Like the Ohio State Penn State is one, for instance. Like Penn State was number 2. That could have been 2 versus 1. At the start of the season. Now it's Penn State's not ranked anymore. So just a few things like that fell apart, but I still put together 5 games that I thought were on the more half of the interesting games of the weekend anyway, or some topics within what happened in those games that I felt were necessary to bring up and be talked about. And that's basically where I'm going to start at number 5 is USC versus Nebraska. It was a good game, but Nebraska has still not beaten a ranked team now since 2018, I believe, and which is insane. That is crazy. They just gave their head coach a 2-year contract extension to try to keep him away from Penn State at Nebraska, which, I don't know. I mean, he's a good coach, but if a team like Penn State wants him that bad, I feel like they're going to go get him anyway. I feel like your 2-year extension really probably isn't going to do a whole lot.
I mean, he's had a history with that in the past when he was coaching Baylor and then got an NFL contract. So, I mean...
Yeah, and there's no loyalty anymore, like, hardly anywhere, unless, you know, you have somebody like Kirk Ferentz, you know, somebody like that. Matt Campbell, I would say, is pretty loyal to Iowa State. But anymore, you know, outside of a few guys, there's not really any loyalty anymore in this game. It's all about the money. And that's with the players, too. And so, sure, you throw the 2-year contract extension at him, you know, hoping to keep away a team like Penn State, but I don't know if that's going to work. So, and then the other thing that you take out of that game is Dylan Raiola is now out for the season with a broken fibula.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, you really hate to see that happen. And I guess it doesn't really, like, from the outside looking in, a Nebraska fan is probably going to have a much different, you know, outlook on what I'm going to say right now. But from the outside looking in, it doesn't really affect your season a whole lot.
No.
To me, I feel like, as a Nebraska fan, sure, it probably does. If Rocco got hurt right now, I would be really mad. I'm an Iowa State fan. I'd be really mad if Rocco was out for the rest of the season. I really would be. But Raiola is out for the season, and just from somebody on the outside looking in, their season really wasn't going to go anywhere anyway. You're hoping to get into a good bowl game at this point, but playoffs and all that are gone. And, you know, you're not going to make a Big Ten championship game. And it's just the curse of the ranked teams just still continues. And USC's a good team. That's a good team to, you know, lose to, but it would have been a good team to win against. But
yeah, they were close. They were close in that game. It was a good one. They were up 14-6 pretty early, and then I think Raiola.
As soon as Raiola left.
Yeah, they just everything went downhill.
Yeah, and I know there's a few Nebraska fans that are gonna be okay with this because they think that the backup quarterback deserves a chance over Raiola. So I guess you're gonna get that now. We're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, see how he does.
All I know is Raiola is really good. He was a highly recruited kid out of Georgia. He is a really good quarterback. So just one thing I'll say is be careful what you wish for, because now you're getting what you've wished for. Some of those people saying, I want to see the other quarterback start over Raiola. Well, you got what you wish for, so we'll see if that's going to work out for you.
Yeah, we'll see how he plays and how the fans like him. That's all you can really tell with that. But yeah, I mean, Nebraska, they'll make a bowl game, obviously. They're still a solid team. But yeah, Raiola going out, that's just very unfortunate for that program this season. Hopefully, you know, he comes back next season and plays well. I think they have a good team. I think Matt Rhule is a solid coach. So I don't think they're necessarily out this year, but they're just, you got to continue on with the season, even with this sad news.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And moving on, at number 4, I got the Panthers versus the Packers. It's kind of crazy, but the Panthers are above 500. Again, this season, they've kind of been staying right at 500, right above 500. They've been staying at that line. They haven't dropped below 500 in quite a while.
Yeah.
And Bryce Young is kind of starting to find his way through the NFL, starting to pick up on some things, you know, what's open, what's not open, stuff like that. And he's showing you glimpses of why he was the number 1 quarterback taken in the draft a few years ago. And he didn't even have a great game in that game either. Neither quarterback really had a good game. I mean, Bryce Young was 11 of 20 for 102 yards and 1 interception.
Yeah.
I mean, all he threw was 102 yards.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
The thing that they had going for him was their run game. I mean...
Rico Dowdle's a beast.
Yeah, he had 25 carries for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. He averaged 5.2 yards per carry.
Yeah, that's insane.
So every 2 times he gets the ball, he's getting a first down.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind. And also, unfortunate news again from that game. Green Bay's tight end Tucker Kraft, he's out for the season with a torn ACL. You hate to see that. He was looking really good this year. He was making a lot of big plays for that Green Bay team.
Yeah, absolutely. And Green Bay, Jordan Love didn't look great, but he looked a lot better than what Bryce Young did. He was 26-37 for 273 yards and 1 interception. So neither one threw a touchdown. The big thing was, though, is Jordan Love was sacked 8 times.
Yeah, their O-line just did not do a very good job.
Yeah, I mean, he was sacked 8 times, and so it's tough when that happens. Bryce Young was sacked once. So that's just, I don't know, a game that if you're the Packers, you can't lose that game. Now you're 5-2-1 on the season, and everybody is looking at the Packers this year to run the NFC this year. They think the Packers, is the road to the Super Bowl going to go through Green Bay? Well, not if you play like that. It's not going to.
No, they've been looking really inconsistent this year. I feel like, I mean, you lost to the Browns,
and they've beaten some bad teams by not very much.
Yeah, and they've lost to some bad teams. And Carolina's not a bad team, but it's definitely a team you looked at and
they should be able to beat.
Exactly, you did not expect them to lose to Carolina.
Yeah, and Micah Parsons coming over. That's supposed to really help that defense, and the Packers only had 1 sack the whole game. I don't even know if that was Micah Parsons, but 1 sack in the whole game. So,
yeah, it's just not very good by that defense. I mean, I don't know what was going on with Micah. I don't know. And he could have been playing well. I didn't really watch a whole lot of that game. But, yeah, it just was not working for them offensively or defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Packers will have, they have some things to clean up. And I think their fans know that too. I don't think their fans are really super confident in that team yet this season. Even though they have a good record, I don't think they're really confident in that team yet. They have the pieces to put it together. They just have to get it all put together yet. So, at number 3, I have the Cardinals versus the Cowboys. And I had a good feeling going into that game that the Cardinals were going to win because we've won in Dallas the last 6 times. The Cardinals play very well in Dallas every time we play in Dallas, but Jacoby Brissett really kind of just put the team on his back last night and made a lot of very good plays.
I really liked how he looked. I liked how the team looked as a whole. I mean, Marvin Harrison had a great game.
Probably the best game he's had this year.
Probably, yeah. And he had some crazy catches. He was running some really good routes. And Jacoby was finding him. Trey McBride did pretty well as well, but there was a couple of times I think Jacoby could have found him, but didn't work out. But I think their defense is the biggest thing that, Cardinals, they're not known for having the best defense, let's be honest. And I think in that game they looked really good.
Yeah, Dallas's offense this year is really good.
Yeah, Dallas has one of the top 5 offenses.
Top 3 offenses.
Yeah, in the NFL this year. And the Cardinals kind of shut them down.
We gave them 7 of their points.
Yeah, pretty much the blocked punt.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't have that, it would have been probably 30-10, maybe even 34-10. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, we gave them that first touchdown off that blocked punt. And, Dallas looked like dry all night. The one thing that I can't believe Dallas didn't do more of is they were running the ball really well against Arizona, and they just didn't do it that much. But the problem is they were down, so when you're playing from behind, you kind of get rid of the run game, you abandon the run game because you feel like you got to stay caught up. You got to keep catching up with the pass. You got to score points fast, and so it just like they got behind in that sense, and they didn't run the ball anymore.
Yeah, they didn't. Javonte Williams did not have. I mean, he played really well the first half. That second half, like you said, they just completely abandoned that run game. He had probably only a couple carries the rest of that game. I know if you have weapons like George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson, you're going to try to use them, obviously. But if the run game is working and your passing game is not, you keep trying the run. I mean, Arizona, that's one thing I think they struggle with on their defense is the run game. And they did really good covering Pickens and Lamb.
Well, and the other thing that really helped last night with the Cardinals is we had Will Johnson playing at corner. He's the really good corner that was a for sure first-round pick like last year in the draft, and he decided to stay that one more year at Michigan. And then he got hurt, like spinal injury got hurt, and they didn't know if it was going to be like career ending. And like that guy's a really good corner though. Like if he's healthy, he's really good. And he slid to like the third round this year, and the Cardinals picked him up. And so far, he is really good. And then Walter Nolan, our defensive tackle, our rookie defensive tackle that we took in the first round this year. I mean, how many times last night did we see that guy make a play? Oh. I mean, he was in the backfield the whole game.
Yeah, insane. He played really well.
Yeah, and nobody's ever heard of this guy because last night is the first night he's played all season. And we drafted him in the first round this year out of Ole Miss. And they kept saying on the TV, that Jonathan Gannon and just the Cardinals coaching staff raves about that guy, and nobody knows why. It's because they've never seen him play. And then last night, I think he showed you why, because he was really good.
Yeah, he was, and it kind of sucks that this was his first game because I think you guys could have won a lot more of the games early on. You probably might have beat the Colts. There's a lot of games that you could have won if he was on that team, if he played like he did last night.
And he wasn't even like so much getting sacks. It was just like he's a run stopper.
Yeah.
He
is.
Like if you're gonna run the ball anywhere around him, you're not gonna get a yard.
No.
You're gonna lose yardage. If not, he's gonna attack you at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And last night he did that to Javonte Williams many times. I think 4 or 5 times he tackled him in the backfield.
Yeah, he did. It was a great game to watch. I think outside of you or outside of Arizona Cardinal fans, there's probably a lot of people that were surprised by that game, of how it really wasn't close at any points. I would say there wasn't really a time where I got worried that the Cardinals were going to lose.
The only thing that makes you nervous going into that game, obviously, is you have a backup quarterback playing, and so you don't really know how. Anytime a backup quarterback's in, you're pretty much expecting to lose. Like, you kind of know that going into the game. We're probably not going to win this game. But it's just how bad are we going to lose the game, or how good are we going to lose the game is kind of your expectation. And Jacoby did very well. So, I mean, he went in there, he played, he had a lot of confidence. And that's one thing I'll give him credit on. Is every game this season he's played for the Cardinals, he's had a lot of confidence. And I just think that that's a veteran thing, too. That's having experience. That's helping. So, I mean, that's good. And we're going to need him because Kyler Murray went in and saw another doctor today to get another opinion. And they're saying he is expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks yet.
Yeah, so it sounds like Jacoby's going to be your quarterback for a good portion of the rest of the season.
Yeah, probably till at least about Christmas.
Yeah.
And I mean, if that's what we have, that's what we have, and that's what we got to go with. It sounds like Kyler's injury is a foot injury, and it's one of those things that won't get any better unless it's healed. It can actually get worse if it's not fully healed and you go on the field and you re-injure it.
Yeah, you don't want him playing on that if it's still hurting. You want him to make a full recovery, rest as much as possible, and come back and play well again.
Yeah, and we need him at 100%.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and, Jacoby is doing well. He's proven himself right now. I know he only has one win right now, but hey, maybe this is what he needed
Yeah, it
to,
could be.
to get going. We go to Seattle now and play this week, which is a place where the Cardinals typically play very well. And I don't know why. Every year I say it, Seattle always wins in Arizona, and Arizona always wins in Seattle. It's weird. But
Makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but that's usually what happens. Not saying that the Cardinals will win this week, but I think that's gonna be a decent game because for some reason the Cardinals always play well in Seattle. So I don't know, but there's something to it, I think. And then the Cowboys side of it, obviously they know they have problems, and they made a big trade today. They are getting Quinn Williams from the Jets on the defensive line, and it just makes me laugh. You get rid of a guy like Micah Parsons, who was doing those things for you. You get rid of him because you don't want to pay the guy. Now you pick up Quinn Williams from the Jets, who is doing the same thing Micah Parsons was, but Micah Parsons was probably doing it at a better rate.
Yeah, and especially with how good Mike has been looking this season.
Yeah, and I don't know what they owe Quinn Williams. I don't know what he's getting paid. I don't know any of that. It's just funny to me how you get rid of a guy who's better than he is in the offseason, and then now you're missing that person, so now you pick up another guy like him halfway through the season because you realize that you really need him.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people, when they saw they traded Micah to the Packers, why did you get rid of you? That was your best defensive player, probably your only good defensive player,
And it's because they couldn't afford to pay him.
Well, yeah, and I mean, CeeDee Lamb got a huge contract. Dak, they gave him a huge contract, a few years ago?
Yep.
And
it was either it came down to you had to pay CD or you had to pay Micah Parsons.
Yeah, and they saw CD as a better investment, which, CeeDee Lamb's obviously proven that he is worth that amount of money.
They're basically going to get to the point where they're going to build their offense around CD.
Yeah.
So, because CD's going to be longer than Dak will be.
Oh, yeah.
And everything else. So they're going to get to the point where they're going to build that team around CeeDee Lamb. So that's the decision that they made. But, yeah, I mean, they made a big trade today, too. So we'll see what happens with the Cowboys the rest of the year. Offense is really good. Defense is not good at all. So I guess we'll see where the Cowboys go. But glad for the Cardinals. Got back in the win column last night. That was a good win. So I'm happy with that. At number 2, I have the Bills versus the Chiefs. And I feel like this game, even if it was a blowout, probably makes the top 5 because there's no way it's going to be a blowout because it's always a good game.
Yeah, it is always a good game between two of the top quarterbacks in the league. Obviously, you have kind of a rivalry there, heated rivalry.
Yeah, this is like one of the best games in the NFL now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Josh Allen always wins in the regular season, seems like, and then Mahomes ends up beating him in the playoffs. I don't know if that same thing's going to happen this year. Who knows? The Chiefs are now 5-4. They have a couple of easy games.
Well, I saw a thing that the playoffs started today. The Chiefs would not make the playoffs.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
That's crazy.
They're third in their division right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're behind the Broncos and the Chargers. Which they still play the Broncos twice and the Chargers one more time.
And the Raiders one more time, but that don't really matter.
Yeah, that's just a win. They might as well just chalk that up as a win at this point.
Yeah. Not unless they totally self deconstruct like they did. What was that, 2 years ago on Christmas Day? Do you remember that?
I think so.
When the Raiders beat the Chiefs at the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Chiefs totally were discombobulated.
Yeah, but I don't think the Raiders were as bad back then as they were right now.
Yeah, that's true. Even though the Raiders should have more talent right now.
They should.
That's great. That's a whole other
conversation. That's a different story. But yeah, if the playoffs started right now, the Chiefs would not be in it. And here's the thing, though, is even if they went out the rest of the season, I mean, yeah, you'll make the playoffs, but you have to win every single game. There's at least a few games in there I don't think they'll win. I think going to Denver.
You think they'll split the series with Denver?
I think they'll split the series with Denver. I think they'll split with the Chargers.
Which, yeah, they got to win that game to split it. So
yeah, because they lost the first one in Brazil.
Yep.
So you have to win that second one at home. So, or I think it's at LA.
I'm not sure where that.
I'm not sure, but they yeah, they need to pick it up because, and Mahomes did not play well at all in this game. He was, believe, 15 of 34, and he threw no touchdowns and threw an interception. And I saw a lot of things online with that game with the Chiefs about the reffing, which is kind of a funny thing coming from the Chiefs. But there was a clip where Patrick Mahomes threw a ball. It was called intentional grounding, and Mahomes was complaining to the ref about them hitting his arm. That's what caused the ball to go in that direction towards the ground. But in the replay, very clearly, they did not hit his arm, but the ball was tipped, but was not caught and called. So I can understand the frustration there, but I also don't think that one play would have changed the outlook of the game. Josh Allen played out of his mind. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. He was putting the team on his back. Dalton Kincaid had a huge game for him. James Cook obviously does James Cook things for them. I think the Bills just really they needed that win. They're not even top of their division. They're behind the Patriots right now, so they needed that. But yeah, overall, it was a great game. It always is. But Mahomes he did not look himself. The whole Chiefs team did not look themselves. Rashee Rice was probably the only one doing anything out there.
Well, he had the first time in weeks off, so he should be.
Yeah, he should be. He's still fresh.
Yeah, he should be good to go.
Yeah, so yeah, I just think the Chiefs are not in a great position right now.
Yeah, and it's too early to count them out. Like we said earlier on in the season, you can never count out the Chiefs.
No, you cannot.
At any point, and because they'll make you eat your words, they'll make you pay for it. So I'm not going to count them out. To think that they would not make the playoffs is absolutely crazy. If it keeps going the way it is, they're not going to. But like I said, you can't count those guys out. They always seem to find a way.
Yeah, they do. Mahomes does really good things when.
Yeah, as long as you have Mahomes on your team, that's a big reason why.
I will say the one thing I'm interested to see, seems like the past few years, they're guaranteed to win the division, and so then they take out Kelsey, they take out Tyreek Hill when he was on the team, they take out Mahomes to kind of keep those players fresh for the playoffs. Now, at the rate they're going at, if they do end up making the playoffs, they'll probably have to play out the rest of the season. So do you think that could somehow affect how they play in the playoffs, or do you think that's a major factor, or what's your idea on that?
Well, yeah, so was it last year when they sat all those guys out at Denver, and Denver completely blew them out?
Yeah.
That was the last game of the season?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
it was like a joke?
Yeah, I think, Carson Wentz was their quarterback or something.
Yeah,
and they something. He played.
He got blown out 42 to nothing, or 7.
Yeah.
It was bad. Yeah, that's not good for football. But I don't know. I mean, last year was the year I think a team had to get them because they had to go do the playoffs on the road. They didn't have the home field. They had to go to the Ravens. They had to go to the Bills, and they got through both of them.
They did. The Ravens, they actually went through pretty easily, and then the Bills gave them a tough fight. That was probably one of the better playoff games I've watched.
Yeah, and so, I don't know. Like I said, it's too early to count them out. You can't ever count out the Chiefs.
Yeah, you can't. Mahomes just does Mahomes things, and they'll continue to win games. And, yeah, like you said, it's just too early to tell.
Yeah. At number 1, we're going to switch it up here a little bit because it's getting to that time of year. My number 1 in the Nate's Greats this week was Arizona versus Florida in men's basketball, college men's basketball.
Yeah.
Men's basketball is back. It was one of my favorite times of the season is right around the Thanksgiving time. You get all these little, tournaments. You're going to get some really good teams playing each other. Last night was opening night. we had a really good game with Arizona and Florida, and Florida's ranked number 3. Arizona was what? Are they 16? No, they were.
They were. I had it. I can't remember. They were, I think, like 11. I think they were ranked 11th.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that game was really good game last night, and I'm just looking at this quick. 13. So it's 3 versus 13.
3 versus 13. Okay.
Yeah. So 3 versus 13 and 93-87. Arizona wins that game. Good look for the Big 12 there. Big 12 beats the SEC. Florida is the defending national champions from last year. And, yeah, just it was so cool to see college basketball back. I love this time of year. Arizona's supposed to be a really good team this year. And last night they looked like they are going to be.
Yeah, they do.
They got some size. They got a lot of skill on that team.
Talk about a firecracker in Koa Pete.
Yeah, true freshman.
True freshman. 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals.
Yeah. And so Arizona's going to be a problem this year in the Big 12. So they can keep everybody healthy. And, I mean, just it was nice last night for the Big 12 to get that win also because last year the SEC was just so dominant in college basketball.
Yeah,
that everybody else was just kind of an afterthought in college basketball last year. All really anybody cared about was to watch the SEC teams play. So that was fun to get out of the gates, go up 1-0 on the SEC in the conference, games this year. So, but really good stuff out of Arizona. That was a fun game to watch. We were watching that game last night. I think came down to the wire.
It did.
And so, yeah, and that's what I love about college basketball, too, is the number 3 team in the country is already 0-1. They have already gotten beat. You just, in college basketball, you never know.
Yeah, Arizona just looked really good. They towards the end of the fourth quarter, they went on I think it was an 8-0 run. They just could not be stopped. They were just doing it all.
Right. And I don't think... did LeBron James' son ever play?
He did not play. He did not. Bryce James did not get any playing time.
Yeah, he did not play. Because I know there were some people, wanting to watch that game for that purpose.
Yeah,
to watch him play, and he did not play.
I think they'll play him against lesser teams, probably. I don't think they wanted to throw him in right against the defending champs, especially since you don't know how he's going to play transitioning into college. So that's... Yeah, I was kind of excited to see how he would play, but it's not surprising that he didn't get any time.
Right, yeah, and you're better off putting those guys out there in a good situation than putting them out there in a bad situation.
Exactly.
And starting their careers off right and giving them some confidence and everything else.
Exactly. You don't want to put him out there, and if he misses 3 straight shots, then his confidence is shot.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. So that was all for my Nate's Greats this week. That is sponsored, as always, and brought to you by Just Toast, the toasting experts.
Yep, best toast in the country.
If you have any toast that needs to get toasted, let them know. They will get that done for you.
Yeah, all types of toast.
Yes. So that was the Nate's Greats segment. Joe, we touched a little bit on college basketball there. Let's kind of jump back into some college football here for a little bit. And what do you have from this week outside of Nate's Greats on some college football topics?
I got a couple of topics. Texas beat number 9 Vanderbilt.
I know, I was so sad.
Yeah, Vanderbilt almost came back though.
Yeah, they did.
They scored 17 points unanswered in that fourth quarter. They were down 34-10, and the score ended up being 31-34 at the end. Yeah, surprisingly, Texas beat them. I was not expecting that at all.
I bet on Vanderbilt to win that game in the money line. I had a lot of confidence in Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt right now is a scary, dangerous team. And to go into Texas and lose by 3 is still pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. Another topic I have, SMU beat 10-ranked Miami.
I heard a lot of people saying this week that Miami's frauds.
I don't know if they're frauds. I just think Carson Beck, when he has a bad game, they're going to lose. That's what I'm going to say. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. threw one of them in overtime. This is the big thing. SMU scored off of both interceptions. So if you don't have that, they win that game. Most likely. So I just think if he has a bad game, they're going to lose. It's same against Louisville when he threw four picks. If you do that, your chances of winning are not very likely. Right. Especially when you have a team that's playing really well. SMU, they're a decent team. They're not great, but they're not horrible. And they were on it. And they took advantage of those turnovers.
Yep.
And obviously, Nate, I want to bring up the elephant in the room. Iowa State lost to Arizona State, and Arizona State was without Sam Leavitt, was without Jordan Tyson, and was without their best defensive lineman. And they lost. Very sad. It was not fun watching that game. It was very rough watching that game. Sims burned us. Their backup burned us. He rushed for 228 yards, 2 touchdowns. Even though he had 2 fumbles. But we just couldn't capitalize on the turnovers.
2 fumbles and an interception.
Yeah, and we couldn't capitalize on it. I think we scored off the interception, but we just could not capitalize on turnovers at all. And Rocco did not play very well at all that game. He did not look himself. Like I said, I don't know if it was that Cincinnati hit or what's going on, but he just does not seem like he's playing himself. You can kind of see it in his eyes when you look at him play. It just does not seem like he's all the way there. I don't know what's going on, if there's something else going on, maybe in his, behind the scenes. I'm not sure, but he just does not look himself. Carson Hansen was the only consistent player, I feel like, that entire game. Ben Bramer was doing really well that game until, sadly, in the fourth quarter, he went down. He took a really hard hit. He ended up looking like he fainted for a little bit, ended up going to the hospital. Thankfully, he's released. I don't think they've released anything about what happened, but that's just good that he's released from the hospital. Nothing super serious there. But yeah, overall, it was just not a fun game to watch, and I think it really put a dent in the fans. I think it put a dent in the players, because that's a game on paper you should have won, but you didn't.
Yeah, just Iowa State had everything going for them on that day, too. I mean, they're down their quarterback. They're down their best wide receiver. You're coming to Ames. Friday night was really cold in Iowa. Saturday morning was chilly. And then it rained out of nowhere.
Yeah, it did. It started downpouring.
And, what perfect conditions to get a team like Arizona State in, cold and rainy. And Iowa State just did nothing with it. I mean, we didn't do anything with it. And that was the first game that I've watched in a long time that I've, watched and I've actively, not happy with Rocco Becht in that game. And just the decisions he was making and some of the throws that he was making, some of the sacks that he was taking, and just...
bad decision making.
Yeah, and it wasn't working. And everybody keeps asking me, what's wrong? And the problem is I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know what's wrong with Rocco. I don't know what's wrong with that team right now. They have just completely lost it. Rocco as a quarterback has just totally regressed the last 4 or 5 weeks. The team itself is a shell of itself of what it was at the start of the season. The whole team has just regressed. And I don't know what we do at this point. And Jeff Sims is not a good quarterback, and we make him look like he's a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yeah.
And we just can't do that. And the problem is we knew what was coming. He's a one-trick pony. All he can do is run the ball. He is not a good passer. And you know what's going to happen, and they do it to us, and they blow open an 88-yard run with him for a touchdown. It's just things like that cannot happen in that game. And we had an aggressive, defensive plan to start that game once again. We were going after him. We were trying to go get him. And just as that game goes on, once again, the defense just kind of lays back, just kind of stays back, sits back more into his zone, and just, plays like a wet paper towel. They just absorb everything.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't know what the answer is right now. I don't know what Iowa State does. I could tell you that there's multiple sources saying that it is on the table that Rocco Beck gets benched for the TCU game and maybe the rest of the season. And there's different sides to that, Some people are going to say, that's good. We should bench him. Make him sit there, and watch. Well, the flip side of that is if you bench him and there's actually nothing wrong with him, he's probably going to leave Iowa State. He's probably entering the transfer portal next year. And do you want to get a guy who's been starting with you as a true freshman who's going to be a senior next year to walk away from your program and leave? So there's more consequences. And maybe, is it a good thing if we bench him? Are we helping him out? Maybe there is something to the fact that ever since that hit that he took against Arizona and Cincinnati that he hasn't been right. Maybe there is something to it. Maybe we do help him by sitting him down. And, maybe he's not healthy mentally right now. But you don't know. I would certainly think that it's going to be on the table, whether, to bench him or not. It's just, that's a really risky decision either way you go. I know the coaching carousel this year is going to be crazy. And so is it worth blowing everything up, for the last 3 games of the season at a point where the season really isn't going anywhere now? Yeah. You really don't have anything to play for at this point in the season. We're one win away from getting into a bowl game this year. And, I don't see it happening against TCU. And Kansas, we have them at home, and you'd like to think that would happen. But look at the Arizona State game, and Kansas has beaten us, religiously the last how many years. We cannot beat Kansas. So there's no part of me, that gives me any hope or, would give me, a for sure thing that, hey, we're going to beat Kansas. So now you're looking at the last game of the season to get bowl eligible, and you're on the road at Oklahoma State. And everybody just says, well, that's an easy one. That one's going to win because Oklahoma State has completely quit. They've given up on their year.
Yeah, but at the rate we're playing, I just don't see it happening.
Well, they have quit on their year down there. But the problem is for one, you're on the road. And two, we've done this to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State came to Iowa State in 2011 to get into the BCS National Championship game at ranked number 2, and we beat them. They would love to give us forever payback for that game. And there's a payback for that game, the last game of the season. Maybe they show up and play that game, and we end up the rest of the season not bowl eligible. But then is it worth putting a new quarterback in, to try to win one of those games? Because right now, I think if we just had average quarterback play, we probably have 1 or 2 losses. If we have average quarterback play.
Yeah.
And Rocco is playing very below average right now. He's hurting the team more than he's helping this team win. And it's not all on Rocco. Rocco right now is the scapegoat for all of this. It is just as much the wide receivers' faults too. I could count probably 5 or 6 times on Saturday where Rocco hits those guys right in the hands and they drop the ball.
Chase
Sowell dropped like 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're ruining that guy's confidence. Rocco already is having a hard enough time, with confidence and where to throw that ball and everything else. And when the ball hits you in the hands and you drop that ball, I mean, you're killing the guy.
Yeah, he did that, I think I counted like 4 or 5 times in that game.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were for first downs.
Yeah, and I know like Aiden Flores done it a few times, this season. I think he had another one on Saturday, like just wide open passes that you gotta catch to help your guy out back there who's already having a really tough time and struggling with a confidence issue right now. And then, there's plays like the last play of the game where Iowa State, it's 4th and 6, 4th and 7, and you have to get a first down, with 20 seconds left to keep the game alive or even in question. And Chase Sowell runs a really nice route, and if Rocco just hits that guy in stride, that's probably a 10, 15-yard gain. But he throws the ball about a yard behind him, and Sowell has to try to catch that thing and falls over while he's trying to catch it because he's having to bend backwards and catch it and falls a yard short of the first down. So, there's just... I don't know what to say. Rocco right now is damaged. He really is mentally. He is very damaged. I don't know if that's a thing with the concussion. I don't know if it's, just a confidence thing right now. Whatever it is, he's not there. He's not the same quarterback he was, and it's really sad that we've gotten to a point where we're talking about benching him because that guy has been nothing short of spectacular.
It is really sad
for Iowa State football.
The first few games, he looked like a Heisman candidate. Like he was looking really well, and now he's just, like you said, he's looking below average. And it's really sad to see because, us as Iowa State fans, we love Rocco Becht, but it's just not working, and I don't know what it is. There's no really word that makes sense for what's happening, and. Yeah. I think the only person who might know what's happening is Rocco, and that's up to him. If whatever it is, if it's concussion, if it's other issues going on, it's his battle. If he has a concussion, it would be probably smart to bench him, but at the end of the day, you have 3 games left, and you still aren't bowl eligible. And that Oklahoma State game is the only game I'm somewhat confident we could probably win. TCU, I'm not confident at all. Kansas,
you would like to think because we're at home, but the way we've played against Kansas the last how many years, it's not been well.
Yeah, it has not been. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I just hope they get something figured out.
Yeah, and at this point, it's getting late in the year, and. Maybe Rocco, either way, decides to transfer at the end of the year. Maybe he's gotten to a point where he looks at it and he's like, I've hit my plateau here. I'm not going to get any better here. I've done everything I can here, and I just need a fresh start. There's always that option that Rocco could still leave this year.
Yeah, there is.
So, you just never know, but we have to root for a guy like him right now that whatever is going on with him, he figures out, because the sooner he figures it out, the better Iowa State's going to be, because we've seen what it looks like when he is confident, when he is healthy, and it's really good what he can do. And so, just hope that whatever's going on, he figures out, but for right now, I don't know what the problem is, and we're just going to have to keep living with it every week. And like I said, the whole team's got to get better too. The defense has got to start doing something.
Yeah, they do.
They only give up, 24 points in that game, but the yards that they gave up is insane. Like, it doesn't, just because they have 24 points, but if you watch that game, that defense did not play well. And, I think as the defense as a whole, we've underachieved as a defense this year. It doesn't help having all those guys out in the backfield, but we're 5 or 6 weeks removed from that now. Those guys should be getting more experience that are on that defensive side of the football, and I'm sure they are, but it's just, you can't keep making excuses, and it's not that everybody on that defense is hurt. We now today have lost Will McLaughlin for the rest of the season, our linebacker, so there's another ding on that Iowa State defense. But I just, the D-line this year is just so underperformed.
Yeah, they have.
And just not able to get any pressure on the quarterback. And some of that can be defensive scheme too. I get it, but just the defense as a whole is just underperformed. The offense has definitely underperformed, and it's not all Rocco. It's everybody on that offense. And it's the coaches, it's everybody at this point. So, Iowa State has a lot of things to figure out. and only 3 games left to figure them out, and they might not figure them out. So at this point, you hope they can, but it's going to be what it's going to be at this point.
Yeah, it is.
And I would also like to say it's a good thing. Really glad to see Ben Bramer is okay.
Yeah.
No information released on timeline, when he'll be back, whatever, which that doesn't really matter.
No, it
at the
doesn't.
end of the day.
His health matters.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And so really, I mean, that was a really scary thing to see happen. And there's people at the game that actually thought he died on the field.
It was very scary.
That's how scary it was.
He wasn't moving for a while.
And so really good to see that he was okay and that he is going to be okay.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. Let's transition away from that. Last week I talked a little bit about Iowa. Nate, I know you said there was some Iowa fans that were not very happy with you. Would you like to, free your name up a little bit, kind of clear out what you were going to say?
Yeah, Joe, you got all the Iowa fans hating on me this week. I was sick last week, so I sent Joe some stuff that, hey, this is what I was going to touch on. Can you fill in for me? That's the last time I ever do that with Joe about anything Iowa football. Because Joe basically just said on last week's pod that, hey, all the Iowa fans, Nate just wanted me to say that you guys suck. And that you guys haven't beaten anybody this year. And you guys are horrible. And you're not ranked. You never will be ranked. And you guys are ass. Okay? That is not at all what I said. All right?
That was my goal. All right?
Okay. Yeah, well, you did your goal. You completed that. What I wanted to say about Iowa football, I'm happy for you guys. You guys should be happy. It's been a long time since you've been able to, be happy about Iowa football. I mean, you guys have went through some horrible quarterbacks in Petrus and all the way through McNamara and Deacon Hill. So good for you guys. You guys are getting, a quarterback that can play, football again. But this is my point that I wanted to make. They're very angry that they're not ranked. Iowa fans are really mad.
Extremely angry.
That they're not ranked. This is why you're not ranked. You have not beaten anybody this year. Your best win this year, on paper, is against a mediocre Minnesota team. On paper, that's your best win.
And a beat-up Penn State team.
That's not even their best win on paper, though. Their best win on paper is Minnesota. So, when you take a bunch of poll voters and put them in a room together, and not a single one of them are from the state of Iowa, and they see on paper that your best win is against Minnesota, are you going to be ranked?
No.
Exactly. Okay? Now, yeah, you beat Penn State. Congratulations. You beat an 0-5 team in the Big Ten right now, who right now is just the laughing stock, and one of the laughing stocks in the Big Ten right now. Yeah, you beat them by 1 point at home. If you want that one to pat on your back, I'll give it to you. Pat yourself on the back for that one. But the poll voters ain't going to give it to you. Okay? And then, other than that, you lost to an Iowa State team who right now looks horrible.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is a lot of the Iowa fans, they get on me because they're like, oh, you're just, you're getting on Iowa now because you're just jealous because Iowa State's bad and Iowa's starting to become good. No, I'm not. Actually, you guys should be cheering for Iowa State to do better, because every game we lose is the reason why you guys still aren't ranked. Okay? Yeah. Every time we lose a game is the exact reason why you guys are not ranked. Because you lost to Iowa State. You lost to a team right now who's on a 5-game losing streak who Penn State could probably beat right now.
Yeah.
Okay? So you have one really bad loss this season. And just Indiana was a good loss. That's a good loss to have.
Yeah, it is.
Indiana went and beat Oregon. But here's where you can change the narrative. You have to beat a team that is big. You have to beat a good team. Iowa has not beaten a ranked team in a very long time. I know that for a fact. This is your chance. You got Oregon coming into Kinnick Stadium. It's a 2:30 kickoff. You got exactly what you wanted. You didn't want the 11 a.m. kickoff. You wanted the 2:30 kickoff. You got them coming. Here they come. But you gave them some poster board material. Your defensive coordinator just had to open his mouth. You gave Oregon some locker room material. Iowa's defensive coordinator went on and said that their offense is very well funded. Oregon's offense is very well funded. Okay? Do you know Dan Lanning? Do you know how he takes that stuff? He uses that as fuel to fuel the fire. That's what, I mean, you're just dumping gasoline on a fire there. 2 coaches have done that before. Prime was one last year who came after him, and what did Dan Lanning say after that game? We don't play for clicks, we play for wins or whatever.
Yeah.
And this year, Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State went on a podcast and said something about, Oregon having, all this money to pay their players, and that's the only reason that they're good. And Dan Lanning took that one to heart, and they throttled Oklahoma State by 70. Well, yeah, I mean, you had them. You had them at, in your house and everything else, and now you're going to throw fuel on the fire. And Dan Lanning has seen it. All the Oregon fans have seen it. The Oregon fans, they are taking to that like wildfire. That Phil Parker said that Oregon's offense is well funded. They very well know that in the state of Oregon right now. So I'm just saying, I guarantee Dan Lanning has all of his assistants just typing that thing up right now, laminating that thing and posting them things all over in the locker rooms, weight rooms, everywhere, that you're a well-funded team. The only reason you guys are good is because we pay you, because you're well-funded. That's scary.
It's a dangerous thing to say.
That was a dangerous thing to say. And Dan Lanning, he's psycho. Like, he is literally psychotic. I mean, did you see that guy after they won at Penn State?
Yeah.
Like, his eyes were, like, bulging out of his head,
Yeah, he was...
I mean, that guy's insane.
Yeah, he is. So that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
As Iowa, they need to buckle down.
Yeah. And this is, if you want to change the narrative, because, all those AP voters, they're going to be watching this week. They're going to be watching this game. Because all the Iowa fans are saying, well, we're mad because they don't watch any of our games. Which is true, okay? That's fine. Yeah, they're not sitting there watching Iowa play Minnesota, okay? They're not interested in that game. They're not going to watch that game, okay? You want them to watch the game? Guess what? They're going to be watching this week when it's Oregon, Iowa. You got big noon kickoff there, and then you have a 2:30 kickoff. It's going to be a huge game. If you want to change the narrative,
now's the time to do it.
Go beat Oregon.
Yeah.
You can change the narrative. You will be ranked. There's a chance that tomorrow that they're ranked, or actually tonight, there's a chance tonight, by the time that you guys hear this, that they will be ranked in the college football playoff. First rankings show is tonight. So there is a chance that they could be ranked in that. A lot of people think 20 to 25. We'll see what happens. But if you want to keep your ranking going up, and you want to, be relevant in the conversation, you got to beat the big teams, and you got to stop cheering against Iowa State, because every time they lose, you look worse.
Yeah. Well, thank you for clearing your name, Nate.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the Iowa fans, a lot of them are coming after me. I was saying, just because Joe called you a bunch of dirty pigs, that is not what I said.
I did not say that. You're putting words in my mouth.
That is not what I told Joe to say.
Well, I think you just kind of said that just in different wording now.
I did not.
We'll see. Well, they still might be very mad at you.
I don't think they should be.
Well, they still might be.
Well, the one thing I wanted to touch on really quick with before we leave college football,
all right,
is I was gone last week, so Brian Kelly got fired from LSU.
Yes.
And one thing I wanted to say about that is I had a few people that were really surprised by that move. The one thing I'll say is that he's not a very nice guy.
No, he's
at
not.
all. He's not liked in that program.
No.
And the problem is when you start to lose the fans, and when you do lose the fans, it's really hard to keep a guy around. Okay, it's really hard to keep you, employed at that university. You could have a head coach like Matt Campbell right now, who's having a horrible year, but everybody loves the guy, super nice guy. It's really hard to fire that guy.
It is.
Just because they like him and his morale, everybody loves that guy. It's really hard to get rid of a guy like that. But when nobody likes you and your whole program, your fans turn against you, even if you're a good coach, at that point, it is really hard to keep your job.
Yeah, it is.
And I still think Brian Kelly is a good coach, but when you lose everybody, when nobody's on your side anymore, it's really hard to keep your job, and that is a big reason why he's fired. He lost the crowd.
Yeah, and some of the players didn't even like him.
Yeah, and Hugh Freeze now is fired at Auburn too. Just want to throw that in real quick. Another head coaching job that's going to be open this offseason.
Sounds like you got some job openings for you, Nate.
I wish.
Okay, so now done with college football. Now let's talk about the other big college sport going on a little bit. College basketball. Iowa State played last night against FDU. We beat them 88-50. Some big points in that game. Milan Momcilovic had, I believe it was a career high, 29 points. 7 threes.
That was a career high. I know that was a career high.
He shot 70% from three, 68% from the field. He played really well. He was making smart shots, taking smart shots. Tamin Lipsey had a pretty good game too. I didn't even know if he was going to play this game, but he did. He finished with 18 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals. That's a really good stat right there. That's pretty high up there for steals. And then also Killian Tour, he played pretty well.
The true freshman out of France.
Yes, the Frenchman. He played pretty well. He didn't have a whole lot of points. He had, I believe it was like 9 points, but he only took 7 shots. He took very smart shots though. He was very selective. He didn't take one unless he thought it was going in. But he played a role out there. He played very well.
His defense is very good.
Yes, it is.
He plays very good defense.
Yes.
And that's kind of a thing that we've seen in the past. That looks like a little Tamin Lipsey.
Yeah.
Like a little Monte Morris.
Yeah.
Guys who Tamin Lipsey and Monte Morris, neither one of them,
Gritty
their
defenders.
freshman year, shot the ball a ton. They were, didn't really get involved on the offense a lot, but really good defenders. And so Killian Tour, true freshman, coming in, starting last night, which I saw last night is only like the 40th time that's happened ever in Iowa State basketball, that a true freshman has started a game to start the season, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah, must be good things about that kid.
Yeah, they're very high on that kid. He's a very highly recruited player, very high 4-star. Played for Brewster Academy, but is from France, and a lot of good things that they say about that kid. So
yeah, I'm excited to see him the rest of the season.
Yeah, Killian Tour I think is going to be a name that's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. That game wasn't super high scoring. There's probably going to be a lot of people out there not happy with Iowa State that they didn't score 100 on a.
But TJ never does.
No,
TJ never scores 100.
But I mean, with those types of games, if there's a very high probability that you win that game, you don't really need to go all out.
Right.
You don't need to, play 110%.
The goal right now is longevity.
Yeah.
Which Iowa State runs into that problem every single year. We don't look like this at the end of the year. Every year. No. Come March, the team is usually a shell of itself. We're so injured, so banged up. So right now, I'm okay with let's play our guys, 3/4 of the game and then sit them.
Yeah. We put a lot of true freshmen in there.
Yeah, we did. We ran a lot of different combinations of 5s on the floor again.
Yeah. Which, I mean, this game also was for that. The first game is usually also, seeing how they play in an actual game setting where it's game going towards your record. Figuring some stuff out still.
And I still think this starting 5 is going to change a little bit.
Probably, yeah.
Everybody assumed going into this game and thought going into this game that Nate Heisey was going to start. He did not start. Killian Tour got to start over Nate Heisey. So, and that might switch back and forth. By the time we get to conference play, or the tournament in Vegas even, Heisey might be a starter. Or some of those things might switch up a little bit,
Yeah, it might depend who we go up against too. You never know.
Yeah, so I don't think there's a starting 5 that's like really official yet, but that's one that played last night, and I think they looked pretty good.
Yeah, I think they did too. Another big one, Bethune versus I believe they're 22 ranked Auburn.
Bethune-Cookman.
Bethune-Cookman. Yep, they took Auburn to overtime, and they lost, but they took them to it. 95-90 was the end score.
And Auburn's head coach retired. So
yeah.
Bruce Pearl retired just like a couple months ago. So kind of left that team, a few months ago. So they might be going through some stuff right now with that team still, but they still should be good.
Yeah. And
they shouldn't be going to overtime with Bethune-Cookman.
No.
I'm just saying that could be a reason why.
Yeah, and I mean, Bethune had 12 threes compared to Auburn's 6. I think that was a big deal in that. It was Bethune shot 54% from 3, whereas Auburn only shot 26%.
Yeah, and Auburn lost some guys last year too.
Yeah, so they did.
Janai Broom's not there anymore. Guys like that. So.
And then another one, good for the Big 12. BYU beat Villanova, 71-66. We saw the big recruit for them.
Number one in the country.
Yep, he did pretty well. 21 points, 6 rebounds.
AJ DeBansa.
Yep, 3 assists. I will say the one thing, he was 2 for 7 from free throws. You got to work on that. But
not against Iowa State, doesn't have to.
No. He can keep that 2 of 7.
Yeah.
Keep it 0 for 7, But I think that's all we have for college basketball this week. But hey, it's a new kind of segment now, so look forward to that. Nate's Greats is going to be having some college basketball games in there.
I might throw some college basketball games in there.
Yeah, he might. And then later on with my triple threat, I don't have any this week, but I might throw some college basketball in there. So kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yep.
Especially with college football, they're kind of coming towards the tail end of the season. But let's move on to the NFL. Just a couple of pointers. Lamar Jackson's back.
Thank God.
This week. Yeah.
Thank God for my fantasy.
Mine too. And Lamar's back. He decimated the Dolphins. 4 passing touchdowns. He looked really good coming back. It's just good to have him back. I mean, the Ravens really needed him.
Yeah, they did. And it just goes to show that the Ravens are nothing without him and how good he is.
Yeah.
When he is playing.
Proves why he's an MVP.
Yeah, because the Ravens are horrible when he's not playing. And just when he's out on the field, he just instantly changes that team into a contender.
Yeah. Even Derrick Henry was playing awful.
Yeah.
Without him.
Well, still kind of is.
Well, yeah, but he's been better. But he was doing okay this last game.
He plays better with Lamar in, but still Derrick Henry is one of those guys this year just not major disappointment.
I don't know if it's age or what, but it could be catching up to him. Father Time could be catching up. I don't know.
It could be.
But yeah, Lamar's back. Another thing I want to mention too, in the Sunday night game, Commanders versus the Seahawks, Jaden Daniels suffered an injury.
Gruesome
injury. It's a dislocated elbow. It looked gnarly watching that.
Yeah, that did not look good.
One thing I wanted to say is I don't know why he was still in. He got injured with I think it was 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they were down by 3 touchdowns. So I don't know why he was still in. You just throw in the backup, and that's why those teams do that. That's why they put in the backups at that point, because there's no point in your star players getting injured, especially with Daniels being so injury prone this year. This is his 3rd time out. And I don't know if he'll be back for the season. I don't know.
After looking at that, I would not assume he's probably back this year.
Yeah. Next thing I want to talk about is my Steelers. Played the Colts, and we had about, I think it was 5 or 6 takeaways in that game. Daniel Jones threw 3 picks, and I believe there were 2 or 3 fumbles that went our way. I liked the way our defense looked in that game. It still kind of sucks, though, that our defense looked as good as they did, and we still only lost by a touchdown. At the end of the day, a win's a win. I'm not complaining, but just I don't think we won by as much as we should have with how that game looked on paper. We shut Jonathan Taylor down. Daniel Jones just could not get going. And they still managed to score 20. So I don't know if that's just to attest to how the Steelers look or how good the Colts are, but yeah, I'm just happy with coming away with a win after having two or can't remember 2 to 3 losing games in a row.
Yeah, well then they reset Daniel Jones to factory mode for that game too.
They did. I mean,
but the highest paid defense in the NFL
finally showed up.
Yeah, it's about time.
They finally came back from Ireland.
Yeah, it's about time they finally show up, play a game, that they're getting paid very well to play.
Yeah, everyone was making plays.
Yeah, so it's good to see that the highest paid defense in the NFL is playing defense.
Yeah, you would think. But yeah, I mean, it's just I like how we're looking. I hope we can play like that every week. Will it happen? Probably not, but I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all for really NFL. There isn't a whole lot. There wasn't a whole lot of interesting things that happened. There's a lot of games that were closer than they should have been.
Yeah.
Broncos Texans, that shouldn't have really been a big one.
A few things. Sauce Gardner is going to the Colts.
I saw that.
He was traded today to the Colts. The Jets are unloading players right now.
Think they're going into rebuild mode or what?
Yeah, they've unloaded two really good defensive players. They're two probably best defensive players, Quinn Williams and Sauce Gardner. And this is what happens when you miss on a quarterback more than once.
Yeah.
You had the team there for 3 or 4 years to make a run at the playoffs and potentially a Super Bowl, and you draft Zach Wilson. And that really hurts. He's not a good quarterback. And then you go after a guy like Aaron Rodgers to come in and save your season. And granted, it's not their fault. He tears his ACL or his Achilles 5 plays into that season and then comes back the next year and is just nothing for them. Does nothing, gives them no production at all on that team. And so that's a side effect of what happens when you miss out on a quarterback. Coaches get fired, as we saw this last year, and players end up getting shipped out because you are not going to be able to afford them. And if you do pay them, you're just going to lose any chance at making the playoffs ever. So you got to stay in the right cap space, and you can't go down that hole. So that's what we're seeing right now with the Jets. It's really unfortunate because that team was a really good team, and now that's coming to an end. They're going to go back into rebuild mode now, and this is where you have to get the quarterback right.
Yeah, it is. And, I don't know if Justin Fields is that
I would assume Justin Fields is not going to be the answer there.
Probably not. I think there is a space out there for Justin Fields. I just don't think the Jets are probably that team.
And maybe he stays with the Jets, but not as their starter.
No, maybe as a backup.
Yeah.
But I think that, it's sad to see those two players leave that team, especially after they just got their first win.
Yep.
But, hopefully this just opens up the door for them to get that piece, that quarterback piece that you really, really need, and hopefully actually do something with that franchise.
Yeah, they're acquiring draft picks right now, so that's what they need to do. They're going to go back into rebuild mode, and really unfortunate for Jets fans. They have pieces there, but they're going to start offloading those pieces now to try to build a different team.
Yeah, it is. Giants have started kind of like their little core. Looks like Jackson Dart's going to be. It's kind of like their quarterback piece right there.
Yep.
For hopefully the coming future. So look, the Jets need to do that as well.
And if a rebuild is done right, it works.
Yeah, it does.
It does work. Not a very good example of it, but a small example of it was the Dolphins, probably 3-4 years ago, when they acquired Tua. They drafted Jalen Waddle. They drafted, they got Tyreek Hill. They drafted Tua. They drafted Jalen Waddle. And that team really came to life. They got the new head coach and Mike McDaniels. That rebuild was done right, and that was a good rebuild. They were playoff contenders.
It's just blowing up now.
It just the quarterback they got wrong.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's really hard. And that's why people lose jobs in the NFL is because of that.
Yeah.
But, that's just kind of the latest example of a rebuild that has gone right. I would say a rebuild that's going right now is probably New England.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Patriots.
Drake May.
But you got to go through some painful years.
You do. You have to go through a lot of not pretty years, a lot of losses.
And I could tell you a team that's going to be coming up on that is going to be the Steelers again.
Yeah.
They're going to be coming up on that because they have no quarterback.
No.
Not for the future right now.
No.
So, and it really sucks when you go into a rebuild because you know it's going to be painful. But every team does it.
And it really sucks too. It really sucks too when you have key players as well. It really sucks when you have. I mean, we'll still probably have Watt. He'll. I mean, obviously he's getting older, but we have a lot of defensive players that are coming up that they're going to be really good, and it's going to be kind of sucky not having a quarterback in those times.
And you got to pay those guys.
And you got to pay them,
which you're not going to be able to.
No, exactly. So then you're going to see those guys go,
and which is probably why they got rid of Minka already.
It is. I saw they're looking to Dolphins are looking to trade Minka as well.
Well, the trade deadline is going to pass tonight, so if nothing happens within the next couple hours, Minka is going to stay with the Dolphins.
Yeah. I do want to say one quick thing about Minka. I see a lot of Steelers fans out there. They're really, I see a lot of mixed reviews about being happy that we got rid of Minka and not happy. I'm on the not happy side because, in my opinion, I think Minka was our glue for that secondary unit. And our secondary is what's killing us right now. And losing Minka, it got rid of that glue. He was the captain of that secondary. He was very good at reading the offense. It's just he's not doing anything really in Miami right now. But I mean, his whole career was in Pittsburgh, and now that was just gone. So it didn't show up on the stat sheet, but he made an impact that I don't think a lot of people saw. But now obviously he's not doing anything on Miami because Miami's defense isn't great either.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's all for NFL really. Trent.
Now we'll get into Joe's triple threat.
Yeah, my triple threat. Last week I went 2-1. I kind of redeemed myself a little bit. I didn't go 3-0, but I went 2-1. I got both of my NFL games correct. Broncos ended up beating the Texans. That one was a close one. And then the Bills beat out the Chiefs, which I liked watching that. However, Utah absolutely beat down Cincinnati, which if Utah won, I wouldn't have been as surprised, but it was by a much larger margin than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, so I went 2-1 last week. I am 7-5 on the year so far. This week, I again have one college game and 2 NFL games. The college game this week is a Big 12 matchup, BYU versus Texas Tech. Should be a very good game. Texas Tech is 10.5-point favorites, and I'm going to take Texas Tech.
Ooh.
I think BYU is at that point where I said it when we went up when Iowa State played them, but I think it's going to happen now. They're at that point where they're undefeated, they're riding really high, and I just think they're going to get knocked down one by Texas Tech. I wouldn't be surprised if BYU won. Both of these are very good teams, very good Big 12 teams. But I think Texas Tech is going to hand them their first loss. One of my NFL games, Patriots versus the Buccaneers. Patriots are 2.5-point favorites. This will be a very good game as well. 2 great quarterbacks, and I'm gonna take that. I think the Patriots are gonna win this. I think they're a little bit healthier of a team right now. They have a little bit more weaponry than than Baker Mayfield at the moment. But I wouldn't be surprised. Baker Mayfield, he makes things happen in some of those types of games. So I think that's a real 50-50 game, but I think the Patriots will take that. I think they're playing really good football right now. They had a close one with Atlanta this last week, but could have been a fluke game. You never know. I think they'll beat the Bucs. And then my last game is the Rams versus the 49ers. 49ers obviously still Mac Jones is still their quarterback. I haven't heard word on Brock Purdy, but the Rams are 3.5-point favorites. Rams just look phenomenal. Devonta Adams is playing really well. Puka is obviously playing extremely well. Matthew Stafford's playing like an MVP candidate. I mean, he hasn't been really talked about that much, but he's been playing exceptionally. He's had 21 touchdown passes and only 2 interceptions this entire year. That's something to be said. And it obviously helps when you have weapons like Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, like people like that. But and obviously the 49ers have a pretty solid team. Christian McCaffrey obviously does Christian McCaffrey types of things. When he's on, they have a very high chance of winning. And I'm going to take the Rams on this one. I think they're just playing really well. Puka is questionable for that game, so we'll see if he ends up playing or not. But they still were pretty good without Puka a couple weeks ago. So I think they'll be okay, and I think they're going to take that. So Patriots, Rams, Texas Tech. That's my triple threat for the week.
All right.
And our last segment of the night is fantasy football. Nate, you want to start off with how your team did?
My team played well, just didn't get it done. Lost by 4 points to Ariana's team. It was a good effort. The only player that is to blame this week is DK Metcalf with a shitty 2.6 points.
He's been to blame the last few weeks for you.
Well, last week, he had 16.
Okay, last week wasn't bad.
The week before that, he had 8. Not great. And then the week before that, he had 19. So, just
seems like it's a
6, though. I mean, come on, man. You're killing me. And I didn't really have anybody on my bench. I would have, really outdone him. I had, Kareem Hunt with 12.5, so I would have, won me the week. But still nobody on my bench that, went off. But obviously I had Lamar back with 25, Christian McCaffrey back with 34. But I'm kind of getting to the point where these guys don't really have anybody. Right now, I don't have a veteran in the locker room that's taking responsibility for this team.
You do not.
So I'm looking to pick up a guy like Tim Tebow or Tom Brady on my fantasy team. Throw him on the bench. I need a locker room guy who's going to come in, with
some energy behind that team.
Yeah, with some veteran mentality, and get us, going. I thought, Christian McCaffrey would be a guy, that would take the reins, and he has, but he just cares about himself. He gets 34 points every week, and nobody else does shit. So I'm thinking about picking someone up to bring in the locker room. I need a locker room guy.
You do. You need some veteran leadership on that team.
Yeah.
My team this week barely pull out a win. I will say that. Another week where I pull it out at the very last second.
You did beat Sean.
I did.
And we didn't even conspire.
No, we thought about it.
We did think about it.
We thought about it.
It turns out if we did conspire, you would have lost.
Yeah, I would have lost. And
I would have won.
You would have won, yeah. So
we would have conspired and still not have beaten Sean.
Exactly. So it wouldn't have worked out very well. I did beat Sean. And also on Sunday morning, I didn't look at my lineup, and DeAndre Swift got downgraded to out. So I beat Sean without one of my guys playing. And what's also crazy is my bench went off. Rico Dowdle had, I believe it was 28. Quentin Johnson had 17. And Marvin Harrison had 27. They played really well. So any of those guys, if I would have put them in, they would have I would have won by even more.
Yeah, and Sean's bunch went off too.
Yeah, his bench did win off.
He had Brock Bowers on his bench.
Yeah, he was on.
43
He's
points.
in the IR slot still.
Yeah, 43 points. Maybe I'll offer him a
43.
trade.
Drake London had 38. But yeah, the biggest things for me, Josh Allen had 28. Kincaid had 22 for me. So it was a pretty good week for them. My running backs hardly did anything, but that's not a surprise. What's funny also this week, I will say, Maddie was asking me if I could give her a player this week, and I was like, the only player I can really give you right now is David Montgomery, because I didn't plan on starting him. So I offered her David Montgomery. She decided to not take him. He ends up putting up, I think it was like 12 points.
Yeah.
And she loses by like 6. And her starting running back had like 7 points. So if she ended up taking David Montgomery, she would have won. She would have won that game. It doesn't help that Brandon Aubrey didn't have the greatest game. I think he only had like 3 or 4 points. But she had a chance. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, and Sean's running back scored like a combined total of 10 points.
Yeah, that was helpful for me.
Yeah, Sean's running back scored a total of 10 points, so that's not helping anything.
Yeah, this week I play Maddie, so that's a lose-lose. If I win, I lose. If I lose, I lose. So
I play Sean this week.
You do.
Yep. I play Sean this week.
We might have to conspire.
And I get Sean on a down week. No Patrick Mahomes. No Rashee Rice.
Yeah, that's big.
They're both on buys, but I'm assuming he's going to put Drake London in.
Probably.
If he was smart, he would put Brock Bowers in, even though he doesn't have to. I think you should keep Brock Bowers one more week in the IR.
Yeah, just keep him there.
I think he needs one more week of rest.
Yeah, he needs another week of rest.
He's not going to replicate 43 2 weeks.
No, he's not.
He's going to come back out and score like 2 points.
Exactly.
Okay?
So do you really want to put him out there?
Yeah, just let him one more week. Just let him rest. Get his rest in.
Yeah.
And then let him play. If I was him, I would keep Brock Bowers in the IR one more week.
Yeah, just leave him in.
I think it would really help him.
I think so too.
Yeah. So, but I assume Drake London, probably gonna play for him. Just looking through his lineup, I don't really think he has any other better options. George Pickens is on a bye, so he can't put him in. And yeah, I mean, my team's gonna be a little questionable this week too. Saquon got hurt at the end of that last game.
He did.
2 weeks ago. Did not play this week. They were saying that if they had a game this week, Saquon would have played. So we'll see if that's true. We'll see if he's going to play next week. I hope he does. I will need him to play. I'm just going to have to go get a new kicker. Harrison Butker's on a bye week. Shouldn't be too challenging with that, but
yeah, Maddie needs a new kicker this week too. Brandon Aubrey's out, so
yeah,
she's gonna have to find a new kicker.
Yeah, so the current standings are Kate's in first place at 7-2. Then Ariana is in second place at 5-4. There's actually a 3-way tie for second place, but because of tiebreakers and points scored, Ariana is in second. Sean is in technically third at 5-4. I am in fourth at 5-4. Joe, you are still sitting at fifth at 4-5.
You got lucky I didn't beat you last week.
And Maddie is sitting at a sad 1-8 in last place.
Yeah,
she won the very first game of the year.
She did against Sean,
and has not won since then.
It's sad though because she's had some weeks where she has scored like the second best points, third most points, and then just plays someone who scores more than her.
Her offense has only put up 963 points this year.
Yeah.
That is the lowest.
Just not what you want to see out of them. And it doesn't help that, she's had Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is not going to perform if Lamar Jackson is not playing.
So she's put up 963 points this year. Ariana's team has put up 1,257 points this year.
Yeah,
that's just in reference to.
That's insane.
My other fantasy league, I'm doing great. I'm 7-2. I'm winning the league. I put up a total of 1,261 points.
My other league, I also played Sean, and I beat him as well. And I am 2-8 in that league now, I believe. So, yeah, you win some, you lose some. So we'll see how the rest of this. I think there's four more games to finish out the season for our fantasy.
Yep, 4 games to finish out the regular season, and then playoffs will be weeks 14 and 15.
Yeah. Nate, you know what's funny? Kate's what? You said 7-2, right?
Yep.
Me and you are her only losses.
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. I got Kate the very first week.
Yeah.
And then you got Kate a couple weeks ago.
I did. I got lucky.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, my fantasy team is just okay. We're going to be middle of the pack. We're going to hopefully make the playoffs, probably be out in the first round of the playoffs, you know. But I'm going to look to get a veteran. I'm looking to bring someone into my locker room, you know, maybe a little closer to the end of the year to get this team ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
See if bringing in a veteran, you know, helps.
I need a consistent firecracker on my team. That's what I need. Everyone kind of has their good games, their bad games. Josh Allen, you know, does what he does, plays pretty well, but I just need a firecracker. Emeka Egbuka was that for a little while, then he went out, and now I need something. Cause
maybe I should pick up Cam Scatterbo.
Maybe you should.
You know, he's out for the rest of the year, but he's still. I mean, the guy looks like he'd be a good locker room guy. He'd go around and headbutt all my players.
Hey, just because you put him in does not mean he has to play.
Yeah, you know, I just keep him on my bench, you know, but he'd go around, he'd headbutt all my players in the locker room and everything. He'd get them ready to go. Play a game.
He would. He would get that team excited.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick up Cam Scatterbo. I'm just going to put him in my IR spot.
Yeah, that's smart. Just because he'll be there. He'll be there for the team.
Yeah.
Just
good moral support. I'm just going to fill my IR spot with him.
Yeah, I'm not sure who I'm going to get to kind of get a firecracker.
See, like on my other team, my other guy, I have Mike Evans, and he's in my IR.
Yeah.
You know, good locker room guy, veteran.
Yeah.
You know, I won't drop him because of that reason, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
I just don't have that veteran on this team, you know. A lot of young players.
Yeah, a lot of young guys, a lot of...
Like Nico Collins. DK's certainly not a leader.
No. I have Derrick Henry in, but, you know, he hasn't been performing. So it's hard for him to get the team motivated.
Yeah, Lamar... You know, Christian McCaffrey should be a veteran, but, you know, he just really cares about himself.
Yeah.
And, you know, other than that, I mean, Trey McBride, he's another young guy. You know, I don't really have a veteran on my team.
No. It's a tough
Jalen
one.
Warren. I mean, there's no really veteran on this team. So I think that's what I'm missing.
Maybe you should trade for Keenan Allen on Maddie's team. He's a veteran.
Yeah, but he's just not very good.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm even going to go with a veteran now. I think I'm just going to pick up Cam Scatterbo. Get this team fired up, ready to play.
Yeah. So that'll either get them fired up or get them all concussions. One of the two.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll either miss the playoffs completely or we might win a playoff game.
Yeah. Or go all the way. You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's all for this week. Sorry it was a little bit longer.
Yeah,
quite a bit longer.
This was definitely our longest podcast, but
we had a lot to fit in, though. We had a lot of college football to talk about. We had college basketball.
Well, I was gone last week.
Yeah, you were gone, so we had to, we had some other things we had to talk about this week.
College basketball starts now, so that's probably, usually we're about an hour and 5 minutes. That adds about another 20 minutes to the conversation.
We might have to shorten up some other topics, maybe not talk about certain games, shorten up a couple things, but... a little bit longer. I'm sure you guys don't mind hearing us a little bit longer.
Probably won't be able to talk about Nebraska anymore.
Probably not.
We've got to cut some of the things out to, get the basketball in there. But
trim the fat.
Yeah, if you've listened to us to this point, we appreciate you. You guys are the reason why we're doing what we're doing.
You guys are the OGs.
We have a much different audience, demographic than what I thought we had.
We do.
I looked through the comments, and we have, a bunch of, middle-aged women.
Yeah, we do.
That's not really the demographic I thought we were, alluding to for our listeners. But,
I did see someone was sending you healing vibes. So.
Yeah, they all were, which is very nice.
Yeah, very, very sweet of them.
We'll take our listeners however we can get them. Not what I thought was going to happen.
No,
but
not at all.
If we could get middle-aged women to listen to this podcast, then all the guys should be interested in this podcast. If we
exactly.
could keep their attention, we should be able to keep all the guys' attention in this podcast.
Yeah, if you're a lady and you're listening to this podcast, get your husband, get the man in your life, whoever. Get them interested in this podcast, too. Get the whole family, Bring the grandchildren around. Listen, this is a family-friendly podcast. Bring them around, Have everybody listen to it, Make it a Wednesday night thing.
Yeah. So, as always, we're brought to you by Just Toast, the ones that know how to get it toasted.
Oh, best toast.
And we're brought to you by Nate and Maddie Can Boxes. If you have any can boxes that you need repaired, let us know. Not that we're ever going to do it, because Maddie, every time I bring it up to her, seems to have no interest in this, which I don't get why.
Yeah, your can box still isn't finished.
Yeah, which I guess I haven't wanted to finish it yet, but yeah, if you have a can box that needs done, call us. No promises it's ever going to get done.
Might take a long while.
Yeah.
We have a long wait list, you know.
Yeah, you got to get Maddie back on track to get some can boxes
Yeah,
done.
we need some motivation.
Yeah.
And then also brought to you by Earl's Doghouse. Mm-hmm. Good beer, great fun. But watch out for that manager. He's very, very hands-on.
Yeah, he likes to get up close and personal.
He does.
He likes to know your life story.
He does.
While you're drinking a beer.
Exactly. He tries to really get to know you, know your history.
He likes to give you kisses.
Yeah, he loves to kiss.
Yeah, he likes to kiss.
He also loves whatever you're eating.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he might
whatever
come
you're
take
eating,
a bite.
he wants to eat.
Yeah, he might come take a bite. Loves to take your seat sometimes too.
Yeah, he does that.
But he's very good at security. I will say that. But really good security.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you walk in there and don't know what you're walking into, you're gonna find out.
Yeah, he's kind of a smaller guy, but
he's scrappy.
Yeah, he is scrappy.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone, thank you for listening. Leave a like, drop a comment. You know, whatever you want to say down there, go ahead and say it. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week.